All right, and we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the live stream. Second live stream of the year, second live stream on the channel. Excited to get into it. We got a bunch of injury news filing in on the day. So we kind of have a little bit of a context as to some guys that are going to be out, all that fun stuff. Brandon Ingram listed as doubtful, not expected to be in this one, so that's going to be some big news. Devontae Graham listed as probable, so we know that. Maxi Kleber's been ruled out. Kristaps Porzingis has been ruled out. That's going to be big on the Dallas Mavs side of things as far as the rotation. Should open up some more usage. And then we got a bunch of news on the Milwaukee Bucks as well. So should be plenty of value to go around on this slate tonight. So that is always fun. And yeah, we're going to do a little bit of a game-by-game breakdown, answer any of your questions here. Patrick in the chat, I see you. What's going on, man? And yeah, as we go along here game by game, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. We're going to talk a little bit about FanDuel, a little bit about DraftKings, a little bit about game theory, all of the above. So if you enjoyed the content at any point during the live stream, don't forget to smack that like button. Don't forget to ask any questions you might have. And yeah, let's go ahead and do a little bit of a game by game. We'll do the first game here, Milwaukee taking on Detroit. Kind of already touched on it. We got a bunch of injury news here. Chris Middleton already ruled out. Drew Holiday already ruled out. Brook Lopez ruled out. Donte DiVincenzo continues to be out. Grayson Allen is listed as questionable, but he is more so probable, so expect him to be in tonight, and that's going to lead to a much different looking Milwaukee Bucks lineup. So it's going to be George Hill, Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, Thanasis Antetokounmpo, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you watched my video earlier, you know Giannis is my lock of the night. Had a little bit of an editing error. I got some feedback on the comments that had the audio from last lock of the night, so apologies for that. But yeah, Giannis is my lock tonight for sure. I mean, I think this guy can literally put up 100 points tonight, and I'm not exaggerating. Not real-life points, but fantasy points. Absolute fantasy point per minute beast. If you're looking at him on the season so far, he's been putting up 1.74 DK points per minute. And then as far as FanDuel is concerned, 1.7 FanDuel points per minute. And when you take out all these starters, all the injuries, and all that stuff, all that's going to happen is his production is going to go up even more. So Giannis, I think, is pretty much a must-play. You can make an argument from a game theory aspect. I mean, this game is a pretty low total. Only a 211.5 over-under. It's going to be a little bit slow, but, I mean, I'm sorry. But I think that if you're not playing Giannis tonight, you're going to be probably in trouble. So that would be my approach. I mean, he's my lock for a reason. And I definitely have a bunch of interest in Giannis. I think he can go out there and just have a massive game. Even though it's a slow-paced game, everything's going to be flowing through him tonight. And definitely plenty of value to go around on the slate. Patrick asks, is there enough value to play Luka and Giannis? I haven't started doing my lineup builds yet, but something tells me yes. And I think that might be the approach because we got news that Kristaps Porzingis is out. Maxi Kleber's out. I mean, that's far less relevant news as to the usage that's going to go around. And then we also we're waiting on Bam Adebayo news. So if Bam Adebayo is out, that's going to make Jimmy Butler an even better play as well. So I think this is definitely going to be a star scrubs build. If we get news that Bam Adebayo's out, that's going to open up even more value with Dwayne Dedmon and Markieff Morris, and I think it's going to be just very easy to start building those star scrubs lineups. And yeah, Patrick asks, is Giannis a must play? I think he is. I mean, that's why I wouldn't tell you that he's my lock of the night if I didn't. That's, you know, he's my guy. He's my number one play. And I have a hard time seeing him fail here outside of an injury or foul trouble. And to be honest with you, if he gets a foul trouble, if there's ever a game for them to just give him a leash and just let him go, this would be it. They're very short-handed. Even if he gets like 5 fouls, I'm sure the coaching staff's just going to kind of leave him out there, let him do his thing. Let him roll with the punches and just figure it out as they go because, I mean, they're going to need the performance from him tonight for sure. So, yeah, Giannis, I mean, he's just going to be an absolute smash play tonight as far as I'm concerned. But the other thing is there's plenty of value to go around on this Milwaukee side as well. So we have guys like a Pat Connaughton, like a Jordan Noor, like a Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis has been limited since he's been back so far, 15 to 19 minutes, but I have a feeling if there was a game that he could probably get up more towards the 30-minute mark, this would be it. And Bobby Portis is just an absolute fantasy point per minute beast. If you've been playing NBA DFS for a while now, you know Bobby Portis can really get the job done for you in DFS. So he's someone that I'll be taking a hard look to tonight for sure. He's grading out as a great play in my model right now. I have him projected for about 21 minutes. Even at 21 minutes on DraftKings, I think he's still a pretty great play. And then as far as FanDuel is concerned for Bobby Portis, not quite grading out as quite as good of a play over there, but still I really do like him. So, I mean, Bobby Portis and then also Jordan Noor at his 4-5 price tag over here on DraftKings. Both very good fantasy point producers. I mean, so far in the season, Jordan Noor is putting up 0.79 DK points per minute. And as far as Bobby Portis is concerned, he's putting up 0.94 DK points per minute. They're priced in the low 4K range. And it's just kind of tough to see them not being able to get there for you at their price tags, the usage increase they're going to see, and then of course the Antetokounmpo brothers. Thanasis is not exactly the best fantasy point per minute producer, but we saw him get 32 minutes last time out. He put up 31.75 DraftKings points, and the thing is, so far in the season, he actually has been a very good producer. He's been putting up 0.84 DK points per minute as far as that's concerned in his production. Like, that's really good for a 3-1 price tag. You know, I'm getting questions in the chat of whether we can play Giannis and Luka tonight. That would be the way to do it. I mean, we have all these cheap 3-1 guys on the Milwaukee side. There could be some more value opening up. We'll get to it as we go along the slate here. But the New Orleans Pelican side, Brandon Ingram's out. So, yeah. Just seems really easy to be locking in some of these guys. George Hill is going to be the starting point guard. He's only 3'8". You can see like 30 minutes. As far as his production, like, has he had the biggest game yet? No, but if there was ever a game for to have a big game, this would be it. You know, before he was dealing with Drew Holiday being in the lineup. Now there's no Drew Holiday. He's putting up 0.75 DK points per minute. He's only 3'8" on DraftKings. As far as I'm concerned, going to be a great play for sure. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be very easy to go stars and scrubs build on this slate, and I think that's going to be the proper approach here, and that's probably, you know, what I would be looking to do here on this slate tonight. So there's going to be plenty of value on this Milwaukee side. As far as the Detroit side, I'm not getting quite as excited about them. I mean, Jeremiah Grant and Sadiq Bey continue to see a bunch of minutes here. We do have the young rookie that's grading out as a pretty good value play over here on DraftKings. Specifically in Cade Cunningham. It's just a matter of the minutes with him. He's priced at 3.6. He's way underpriced as far as his talent's concerned. Number 1 overall pick. But the question is the minutes, really. As far as, you know, our sample size, we're only dealing with about an 18 minutes sample size, but he has been able to put up 0.82 DK points per minute when he's been out there on the floor, and he's only 3.6. So that's another piece of value that you could be looking to tonight in Cade Cunningham. He's going to make plenty of sense for me, especially in your DraftKings lineups. No issues with going to Cade Cunningham. That's going to allow you to jam in all the studs and that stuff. Garza says, any news on Ayton? Looking to play JaVale if he's not in. So far, haven't received any news on DeAndre Ayton, but yeah, that's a great point. That's just going to open up even more value if DeAndre Ayton's out. I mean, JaVale McGee is going to be an absolute smash play. We have Bam Adebayo possibly being out. That would open up the Dwayne Dedmon play. And then, yeah, JaVale McGee. If we do get confirmation that DeAndre Ayton's out, is this going to be an absolute smash play? He's way too cheap across the industry. On DraftKings, he's only 3.4, so might be smart of you to try to create some lineups where you can, you know, wait on that news. Don't have all your players locked into the early games and then be able to take advantage of that JaVale McGee value coming on later in the game. Because if there is no DeAndre Ayton, yeah, great point. JaVale McGee is going to be a great play. And that's another guy that's only 3.4. So, I mean, even if for some reason Ayton does get ruled in and you're stuck with JaVale McGee in your lineup, I mean, he played 18 minutes last time, 14 minutes the time before. He can still get you there, his price tag. So, I definitely have no issues with you sticking JaVale McGee in your lineups and hoping that DeAndre Ayton's out. Might be a little bit of an edge on the field. If we don't get that news early on, you'll definitely get a big advantage on the field. And, yeah, good call as far as the Ayton news. Certainly going to be big news there. But yeah, so Cade Cunningham on this Detroit side's decent value. I'm just a little concerned about the minutes limit for him. It's just, a little bit unfortunate. And I haven't seen any news on him so far. I mean, I'm going to do some digging on my Patreon. I'll be updating all that stuff with my core plays and all that stuff. If you didn't know, I do offer a premium package that's linked below in the description. You get access to all my projections. I'll give you my core plays. You get access to a bunch of different sheets with some key statistics that can help you when building your lineups. So yeah, I'll certainly have that. So yeah, I mean, that's that Milwaukee-Detroit game. Miami-Dallas, I talked about it a little bit, but we are waiting on this Bam Adebayo news. That is going to be big news. If he's out, that's going to open up Dwayne Dedmon and Markieff Morris value, as well as make Jimmy Butler a much more prominent play. Jimmy Butler's ceiling is going to be huge, and then we're going to have a bunch of stars on this slate that are getting a big bump up in usage. We're going to have Jimmy Butler, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be a guy that's getting a big bump up in value. So the list is going to go on and on. This is shaping up to be a big stars and scrubs slate. I'd really make sure that you're able to be at your computer late swapping, if at all possible, because that's going to definitely give you an advantage on the field. We talked about the fact that there is no Kristaps Porzingis, there is no Maxi Kleber in this one either, so that's going to be Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock sliding in, but I also think that's going to surprisingly give a big usage bump to Jalen Brunson as well. He's only 5'5". I know he's not directly correlated from a positional aspect. He's more of a guard play, but the fact of the matter is they're going to need scoring. And when you take Kristaps Porzingis off the floor, now there's no Dwight Powell. That's going to have to open up more minutes somewhere. They might go small. And that's another thing to note. If Bam Adebayo is ruled out in this game, I could see this game going small. So that might cause an issue here for even the Dwayne Dedmon value. I mean, he's only 3'8", so he can certainly still get you there. But as far as his minutes are concerned, last time out, he got a little bit of foul trouble. He only played 17 minutes. You can make a case maybe if Dwayne Dedmon becomes very popular to possibly fade him if this game goes small. I mean, I still think he's going to be a great play at 3'8", but the fact of the matter is this game might go small. And if that's the case, that's probably more minutes for guys like PJ Tucker and Markieff Morris at their respective price tags at 3.4 and 3.3. So it might be a nice little mix-up to be playing them rather than the Dwayne Dedmon play if we see that Dwayne Dedmon's getting a bunch of ownership. Whereas, we already got confirmation that Maxi Kleber's out. We already got confirmation that Kristaps Porzingis is out. So as far as the Dallas Mavs starting lineup here, Dwight Powell, not exactly your traditional big, a little bit more of almost like a small forward build type of deal, more of a smaller big. So not exactly, an ideal spot for a big to be out there for a massive amount of minutes. Now, if Bam Adebayo is in the game, that's going to completely change it. But with that being said, Dwight Powell is grading out as a tremendous play for me tonight. He's a guy that oftentimes his usage will get cut into, his minutes will get cut into by guys like a Maxi Kleber, like a Kristaps Porzingis, and the Mavericks are going to kind of have their hands forced here to play him tonight. At only a 4K price tag on DraftKings, he's grading out as a tremendous play for me, a tremendous value. I've got him projected for like 30 minutes right now. He's putting up 0.73 DK points per minute. Everything matches up as far as Dwight Powell is concerned, and I think he's going to be another tremendous value on the slate, to go along with these guys we're talking about, JaVale McGee, Thanasis Antetokounmpo, Josh Hart, with there being no Brandon Ingram in this one, is going to be a great play for the Pelicans. So yeah, the value is just overwhelming on this slate. I'm reiterating it over and over again, but I think it's important. Build your lineups accordingly. Try to give yourself some flexibility for when the late news comes out that you can have a Star Scrubs build, because I think you're going to want to be able to jam in as many studs as possible on this slate. And let's be honest, when you're able to play all the studs, it just makes for a fun slate. I mean, these are the slates I live for. I love it. I'm able to fit in, Giannis and Luka and Jimmy Butler and Russell Westbrook or whoever I'm really high on. That's what makes DFS fun. So yeah, I'm excited for this slate for sure. We have all these value plays opening up. And yeah, DePrince asks, Giannis a must on all sites. Yeah, I think he is. If you watched my video earlier, he's my lock of the night. He's the best fantasy point producer in the league. If you're just tuning into the live stream, I mean, it's him and Nikola Jokic so far in the season. He's putting up 1.74 DK points per minute. As far as FanDuel is concerned, he's putting up 1.7 FanDuel points per minute. He's a guy that oftentimes will have his minutes limited a little bit if the Bucks are blowing teams out. And guess what? This game only comes in with a 4-point spread. I don't think they're going to be blowing them out with all these injuries they have. There's no Jrue Holiday. There's no Brook Lopez. There's no Chris Middleton. They're really coming down to, some reserves. So they're going to have to relying on them pretty heavily here. And for that reason, I mean, I think Giannis' ceiling is huge. So yeah, I think Giannis is a must start. if you're just tuning in, I did say earlier, there's a possibility maybe he gets hurt or something like that. And then if you don't play him and he's like 70% owned, you have an advantage on the field. But that's just, congratulations if you do that and you get lucky. But yeah, Giannis is a must play for me. I think he's just going to go off. I think Jimmy Butler and Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic's already pretty much a must play. With all the value, I just think it's just so easy. We can put Luka and Giannis in our lineups just so easily. I mean, we'll go over FanDuel a little bit in the stream, but as far as DraftKings is concerned, there's just so much value. I don't see why you can't. If you want to go with more of a balanced build, if you're really high on guys like, maybe a Jordan Nora, a Bobby Portis, but even then, they're only in the low 4K range. Like, I think you're going to have plenty of salary to get up to Luka, and I would advise that you do so if at all possible. So, yeah, there's going to be an overwhelming amount of value. Make sure you're at your computer. Make sure you keep an eye on the news. If you don't follow me on Twitter, follow me over on Twitter at KJK_DFS. I'm constantly tweeting out updates if there's any new news that comes out. I'm trying to keep you guys aware for following my content and everything. I want to make sure that I'm helping you guys out, giving you the latest news so that you can adjust your lineups accordingly. And then if you want to become a Patreon member, I'm constantly updating that. You can hop in the Discord. You can ask me questions all night long. I got the app up to try to help you guys out as well. So. But yeah, in this game, we're definitely waiting on that Bam Adebayo news. That's big news. So hopefully that'll come through sooner rather than later. But we have nothing so far in this one. So that'll obviously change some things in this one. But yeah, Dwight Powell is going to be a tremendous value play. Jalen Brunson is going to be a tremendous value play. Luka Doncic has a huge ceiling. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a guy that I didn't talk about yet, but he's obviously going to take up a big usage bump as well. I do like his price tag a little bit more on FanDuel. I can tell you that right off the bat. I was looking at some of my projections here. He's 6-1 on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, they've got him priced all the way down to 5K. So Tim Hardaway Jr. is a player that on FanDuel does make a lot of sense for sure. Another question in the chat. Ronald asked, do you think if Bam is out, it bumps Duncan any? I mean, yes, a little bit. Duncan's not quite as associated with him, though, to be honest with you, at 4-4. I did mention, though, that the game could go small, and if that's the case, that's where Duncan Robinson would really get his bump. Guys like Dwight Powell being out there on the court for Dallas, maybe they're going to a Dorian Finney-Smith instead, and then Dwayne Dedmon gets pulled off the court. Then you could be looking to a ceiling game from Duncan Robinson, but you kind of have to have the game break that way for you. So if you anticipate that the game goes small, yeah, I do think that Duncan Robinson could have a big high upside game, but honestly, it's kind of tough because he's competing with a lot of guard usage here. They have Kyle Lowry. They have Tyler Hero still in the lineup, and those guys are going to occupy a lot of that usage. And then when you factor in the rest of the Miami roster, it's really just the bigs. So, yeah, slight bump up for Duncan Robinson, but I got to be honest, you're kind of really taking a strong take that this game's going to go small if you feel that Duncan Robinson gets a big bump there. So if that's how you feel, that's your niche and how you feel this game's going to go, then yeah. But I'd say it's a very small bump, if any. Sacramento taking on Utah is the next game on this slate. These teams are both fully healthy, so I have a feeling that's going to make my interest be a little bit limited here. I mean, we're talking about a lot of depleted teams with some big usage bumps. Both of these teams are really deep. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Bogdanovich, Joe Ingles, like all cutting into each other's usage on the Utah side of things. And on the Sacramento side, it's the same thing. Fox, Barnes, Holmes, Halliburton, Buddy Hield. They're all kind of going to cut into each other's usage a little bit. So I feel like on a slate where we're seeing a bunch of teams depleted, a bunch of teams where there's some value opening up, I'm not quite sure that it's necessary to be going to some of these guys when, there's so many great values out there. Right now, as far as some guys that are standing out to me from a projection aspect in this game, on FanDuel specifically, where you get the blocks, the 3 points for each block and steal, I really do like Rudy Gobert at 8-2. Not to mention the Sacramento side has been very bad on defense, so I think this is a great matchup for Rudy Gobert to have a ceiling game, so I do like him quite a bit at 8-1 on DraftKings, but specifically on FanDuel at 8-2, he's kind of standing out to me. Like I said, it's a little bit of a different scoring format over there. You get the points for the blocks, the steals, all that fun stuff, so Gobert is going to make a lot of sense to me on FanDuel specifically at this 8-2 price tag. He's definitely standing out. And like I said, I don't think you can ask for a much better matchup, so I do like Rudy Gobert quite a bit tonight. And then as far as anyone else in this game that's standing out to me, I do think that another guy that's underpriced specifically on FanDuel is Mike Conley at only 5.5. A guy that's getting a bunch of on-ball duty handling. Traditional point guard, when they're playing the rotation, oftentimes him and Donovan Mitchell will kind of swap turns, going on-ball heavy, getting the assist upside. He hasn't quite had that huge upside game yet, but if there was ever a time for him to have it, it'd probably be this matchup taking on Sacramento. Like I said, they haven't exactly been the strongest defensively, and then you factor in his price tag on FanDuel, I just think he's too cheap. He's only 5.5, so he's grading out as a great play for me, and I think that De'Aaron Fox on FanDuel as well is really standing out as a great play at only 7.7. So a lot of these plays are standing out to me more so on FanDuel than DraftKings when it comes to this Sacramento-Utah game. On DraftKings specifically, like I said, I just think there's so much other value. A little bit of a different format, a little bit of a different roster construction on DraftKings. But on FanDuel specifically, De'Aaron Fox, Mike Conley, some of these guys really looking good. When I go over here on DraftKings and I look at some of them and how they're grading out for me right now, I'm not really getting nearly as excited. The top guy, as far as from an upside aspect based upon his price tag, is going to be Davion Mitchell at 3.8, and he's not exactly been producing at the highest rate. He's playing a lot of minutes, but he's not really doing much when he's out there. He's played 29 and 26 minutes the last 2 times out. He's only put up 16 and 11 DraftKings points. So that's kind of a no thank you for me. And my 2 favorite plays on DraftKings would be Bojan Bogdanovic and Mike Conley. Mike Conley's actually priced pretty friendly over here on DraftKings as well. So, but those 2 guys grading out to me in the mid-range at 6K, 5 and 5.1 respectively. Their price tags on DraftKings, they do make some sense. Both can shoot the 3 ball. You get the 3-point bonus. And then Buddy Hield at 5.8 over here on DraftKings is priced pretty reasonably as well. And kind of my approach here on DraftKings would be kind of going more towards the mid-range, I feel like, as opposed to paying up in this one. The New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Phoenix Suns is going to be the next game. We already got confirmation that Brandon Ingram's listed as doubtful, so, pretty much listing him as out right now in my projections. I don't expect him to be able to play. And for that reason, that's going to also, increase a bunch of different usage for these guys on the Pelican side of things. So, Jonas Valanciunas, he's going to get a big bump up in usage. This guy's been an absolute fantasy point beast. Unfortunately, his price tag keeps climbing, but deservingly so because, Jonas Valanciunas, I sound like a broken record. I've been saying it all year long, but it's just the truth of the matter is the fact the only thing that's been holding him back in the past is the fact that his minutes have been somewhat limited on the Grizzlies. Now he's seeing like mid-30s in minutes every single game. And when you look at his fantasy point production, this guy's just beasting and feasting. He's 8.5 on DraftKings. He's putting up 1.35 DK points per minute. There's no Brandon Ingram. There's a high chance. I know his price tag keeps going up, but he's going to be able to go out there and put up 50, 60 DraftKings points. And if that's the case, you're going to want him on your roster. Really, the only thing I think that's going to hold him back is a possible blowout in this one. It is an 11.5-point spread in favor of Phoenix. So that's a little bit scary. But if the game's going to stay close, chances are it's going to be because JV's going off. So it kind of makes sense. If you're playing him, it's going to go one way or the other. Hopefully the game stays close, obviously, if you're playing him. Devontae Graham to get listed as probable as well, so he should get a big bump up in usage. Going to like him quite a bit at his 6.4 price tag, and the same rule is going to apply for Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Both these guys should see plenty of usage tonight. And then you have Josh Hart as well at 4.9. He played 30 minutes last time out, so plenty of usage opening up on this New Orleans Pelicans side with there being no Brandon Ingram. Really just a matter of if this game can stay close. Phoenix not exactly the greatest matchup in the world. They're pretty good defensively, unfortunately, but still plenty of value to go around here in this one specifically. So, and then, like I said, the Phoenix side of things, if we get confirmation that DeAndre Ayton's out, that's going to make Mr. JaVale McGee an absolute smash play, add even more value to the slate. And you're really going to be able to start jamming in some studs if that's the case. You'll have JaVale McGee, Thanasis Antetokounmpo's only 3-1, Dwight Powell we talked about, Cade Cunningham. You could even throw in a Herbert Jones if you wanted to on the New Orleans Pelicans side with there being no Brandon Ingram. So, yeah, your lineup builds are going to be able to be loaded with studs the more breaking news that we get on this slate tonight as far as some of these guys being in and out on the respective teams. So, yeah, we're just waiting on some more news here. Does look like Saddiq Bey is expected to be ruled in. That just came through, so Saddiq Bey will be in tonight. That's another piece of news that we can be keeping an eye on. And, yeah, I feel like we covered this New Orleans Pelicans Phoenix game pretty good. Chris Paul and Devin Booker are the obvious 1 and 2 as far as plays on the Phoenix side if this game stays close, especially if there's not going to be any DeAndre Ayton. That's just going to increase their usage even more. But like I said, JaVale McGee is going to be the one that can really capitalize. But Devin Booker specifically at 8K on DraftKings, he's been hooping, and he's grading out as a pretty good play for me in my projection model right now from a multiplier aspect. So, and as far as his upside's concerned, yeah, Devin Booker, no complaints with going to him whatsoever. All right, next game, last game. Houston taking on the LA Lakers. We do have LeBron James listed as questionable. I actually saw a tweet earlier where LeBron was like, can't wait to hoop tomorrow yesterday. So not that that confirms that he's in, but I feel like he's going to play. I'm not really thinking that he's going to sit. That's kind of my approach there. As far as my lean right now, I think that LeBron will be in. Obviously, if he was out, that would impact some things, but I'm not expecting that to be the case. I think LeBron's going to be in. So that's obviously going to cut into the usage. LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, all three of those guys are going to be in the game, so like out on the floor. And that's a little concerning to me when we're talking about all these other teams that are shorthanded. You know, why am I going to really want to target the Lakers when they're fully healthy? When I can target some of these other squads that are dealing with some injuries. Luka Doncic going to get a huge bump up in usage with there being no Kristaps. Giannis Antetokounmpo going to get a huge bump up in usage with there being no Kristaps Porzingis. I just don't really think it makes sense to be paying these big price tags for guys like Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. It's just not really where I would go on this slate. So make that pretty simple. And on the Houston side, it's not as if I'm getting too excited to play anyone either. I mean, Christian Wood at 8.3 produces at a very high rate, but is he really grading out all that great for me? Not really. Decent, but overall, I'd rather play like Kevin Porter Jr. at 6.2. I'd rather play Jayshawn Tate at 5K based upon their price tags. And I don't really know if I'm necessarily going to land in that range with all this value we have opening up. And also, Jayshawn Tate's listed as questionable. So Eric Gordon can get a big bump up in minutes and usage if there is no Tate. So keep an eye on that one. That's another piece of news. And the list goes on and on. Okay, so any questions, let me know in the chat, please. Kind of went through the slate pretty quick there. I mean, it's only a 5-gamer. We're waiting on a bunch of news, but, this is kind of where I'm opening up the Q&A, so please ask any and all questions. If you feel like I did a pretty good job of covering it and you're happy, we might have to bounce out the door, but I'm willing to stick around till 6 answering any questions that you have, so, yeah. Patrick asked, Valanciunas or Gobert on FanDuel? As far as FanDuel is concerned right now, looking at my projections and who I like there, I talked about liking Gobert quite a bit. As far as right now, I do have Gobert grading out as a better play from a fantasy upside aspect. Well, that could, of course, change, but right now, yeah, I probably would go Rudy Gobert over JV, just based on the price tag. Rudy Gobert is a little bit cheaper. I expect him to be right around the same projection, so just makes sense to go to Rudy Gobert, and then Rudy Gobert has a great matchup. Now, keep in mind, if there's no DeAndre Ayton, it's not exactly too much of a matchup upgrade, but, I mean, it kind of is. I mean, JaVale McGee is not exactly the best defensively, so if that's the case, that could be an upgrade for JV. And, yeah, I mean, that's a tough decision. I like them both. I like them both a lot, so I'd say I hate to say it, but I don't think you can go wrong, but as of right now, I would slightly lean Rudy Gobert, and the reason is because of that slight price tag discount. On FanDuel, do we have to pay up for center? I mean, I don't know. I haven't been doing any lineup builds so far. As far as right now, I like Rudy Gobert and JV the best by far, looking at the list based upon their price tags. Going down the list, you have Dwight Powell, who's a great value. You have Bobby Portis, who's a great value. It's just a matter of if you really want to waste your center spot on them when you can slide them into the power forward spot. And there's also a strong possibility that we see Dwayne Dedmon and or JaVale McGee become available values. So I can't quite answer that question yet because it's going to depend upon that news. If we get news that Dwayne Dedmon and JaVale McGee value opens up, then of course, they're going to become viable plays at the center position. But right now, we don't quite have that news. So as of now, I would pay up at the center position, but that's because we haven't got confirmation on the Bam Adebayo and or the DeAndre Ayton news. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, as of now, I would pay up. I would pay up in my two guys. We talked about it. Right now, I'm really liking JaVale McGee. I'm really liking Rudy Gobert. So, but if you want to slide salary guy into your center spot, you could put a Bobby Portis there at 4.7. I wouldn't call you crazy at all. I mean, Bobby Portis just goes crazy anytime he gets an opportunity to actually get some minutes. So I'm a big Bobby Portis guy. I'm not afraid to say it. The guy's won me plenty of money in the past. He just seems to produce no matter what when he gets an opportunity. He was somewhat limited early on in the season, but he's gotten some rest. I think he should be good to go here. And I think that he's kind of right on pace to finally get a big minutes usage and a big usage increase in this game. It kind of all lines up. He missed the previous game for injury management, playing just 19 minutes. Then they gave him, another rest. I'm sure he's been doing plenty of conditioning behind the scenes. That was on 10/31. It's 11/2. A couple days rest. I'm going to like Bobby Portis a lot for sure. So, all right. Any other questions? Drop them in the chat. Just waiting on some news here. I mean, for the time being, let's do a little bit of a small lineup build here. I mean, Giannis and Luka, we keep talking about it. I think it's going to be pretty easy to be fitting them in with usage with value. Luka and Giannis, if you put them both in, that leaves you with about 4 or 5 per position. We talked about plenty of value with right now with guys like Thanasis Antetokounmpo at only 3-1. You can put him in your lineup here. That's going to leave you with 4-8. We have plenty of other values popping up. Jalen Brunson, with there being no Kristaps Porzingis, is going to get a big bump up in usage, so you could certainly be putting him in your lineup at 5-5. That's going to leave you with 4-6 per position. You could put a Nickeil Alexander-Walker, a Bobby Portis, a Jordan Nora, the Milwaukee and the New Orleans side, plenty of value. You could put a Josh Hart in there. So, let's go ahead and throw one of those guys in. We'll throw in a Josh Hart at 5-5. At 4-9. And then you're still getting like 4-6 per position. Let's say if for some reason we find out that there is no Bam Adebayo tonight, that's going to open up some Dwayne Dedmon value. He's only 3-8. You have 5K per player. So the more and more news that we get here, you're going to be able to fit in any and all studs you want. And like I said, I'm excited about this slate. It's going to be fun. You're going to be able to build some lineups where it's like, wow, I get to play Luka and Giannis. And the top guys priced in the slate: Giannis, Luka, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, Jonas Valanciunas. We talked about liking. Rudy Gobert. We talked about liking. These guys are all priced up, and they're all you can really fit a lot of them in your lineups. The more and more value that we find out is going to be opening up, the more and more we're going to be able to play these guys, and it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. So. Fade Jimmy for that price, Albin475 asks. So here's the thing with Jimmy. Right now, I wouldn't play him. That's assuming that Bam Adebayo's in. I wouldn't make him too much of a priority. However, if Bam Adebayo's out, then he becomes a pretty high priority, especially with all of the value that we have. And if Bam Adebayo's out, that's going to open up more value within that game with those two guys, and Dwayne Dedmon and Markieff Morris. So yeah, it's going to be possible to fit Jimmy Butler in. It's going to be possible to fit Giannis Antetokounmpo in. Yeah, you're going to have plenty of options to be building out your lineups with the more and more news that we get here. One of the biggest edges you can have on this slate is if you decide, if you're going to guess DeAndre Ayton's out, you make your lineup so that JaVale McGee is going to be the biggest value, and these other people play a bunch of guys in the earlier game. You're going to have an edge because you have way more salary than anyone else. You're able to fit in these studs. The only thing that's a bit of an issue is the fact that those games are at 10 o'clock. So we might not have this news on DeAndre Ayton being in or out until like 9:30 or something, which could be an issue for your lineups if you're all in on JaVale McGee. But like I said, honestly, at his price tag, he's only 3-4. Like, do I think if you have JaVale McGee in your lineups and we find out that DeAndre Ayton's in, that you're absolutely dead in the water? No, I don't. I think you're going to be perfectly fine, especially if you have all these studs in your lineup. If you're going down to a JaVale McGee and you're counting on this news, you're probably going to have a Giannis Antetokounmpo in your lineup. You're probably going to have a Luka Doncic in your lineup. So you're going to be able to fit in these top-tier fantasy point producers that we've been talking about. A guy like Giannis putting up 1.74 DK points per minute with pretty much the whole entire Milwaukee side out for the game. A guy like a Luka Doncic putting up 1.39 DK points per minute, and we know he's underperforming so far in the season. This is not the Luka Doncic we saw last year. I have a hard time believing his usage isn't going to go up more and or his fantasy point production. And there's no Kristaps Porzingis. So everything's matching up here for this to be a stars and studs slate. You just got to pick the number one values that you're high on. You got to hopefully nail the injury news. keep at your laptop. Make sure that you're ready to go. Have a game plan. So have a game plan. If you find out that DeAndre Ayton's going to be in the game, have a game plan to maybe swap off to someone else. If you find out that Bam Adebayo's in the game last minute, 7:30, have a game plan to maybe play some of the guys at 10 o'clock. Just be going over this stuff in your head. We know the guys that we're waiting on for injury news. We have Bam Adebayo we're waiting on. We have DeAndre Ayton we're waiting on. We already got confirmation on Brandon Ingram, so we already know that this is going to be a bump of usage to these guys. So, yeah, there should be plenty of value. And I went on a little bit of a rant there, but I mean that's what you got to be thinking about on these slates. And I love it. I love the fact that we're going to be able to fit in all the studs we want. It's going to be a fun one. So I'm pumped for this slate. I can't wait. Hopefully we get more and more value here. The more and more value you get, the more and more excited I'm going to get. And I'm prepared. So just be prepared for all the injury news. Be prepared for DeAndre being ruled out or in. Be prepared for Bam Adebayo being ruled out or in, and know who that's impacting. We've been going over this. All right. I think I lost you guys there for a second. Can you let me know in the chat if you can hear me again? I don't know what just happened, so if you can let me know in the chat if you can hear me. I think we should be back online here. I don't know if I just lost you guys or not. All right. So yeah, we should have plenty of value here, plenty of options. I'm really looking forward to this slate. Luka Doncic, we talked about the adjustments we can make here. Yeah, Ronald says you can hear me. Did you guys lose me there for a second, or was I online the whole time? If you could let me know, please, just because on my end it looked like I dropped out. Okay, yeah, video's coming in grainy, but if I'm still live, I think it should kind of pick back up here. It looks like we're getting some corrections in my stream, so sorry about that. Like I said, this is still my second time live streaming, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Things are going well here. All right, it looks like it's back. So yeah, we're gonna have plenty of usage to go around, plenty of value. Sorry for the interruption there, guys. I'm not really sure why that just faded out. But looks like we're back online, so we should be good. And yeah, let me know any questions you have in the chat. Ronald, if you can let me know your questions. I know you're with me, so thanks for the feedback, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, we're just waiting on some injury news here. That's what this slate's going to come down to. Hopefully we get it sooner rather than later, but at the same time, if it's last-second news, a lot of times that can be a big advantage to your lineups. You could be the guy sitting at your computer and you're focused in on the fact that JaVale McGee is going to be, the number one value option if there is no DeAndre Ayton in this game. And if you're the guy that's on top of it, you could be at the top of the leaderboards. If you're winning the big money, if you're playing these big tournaments tonight, trying to go for that 100K or whatever your aspirations are, it's really going to come down to being on top of this injury news. And we're going to have plenty of ability to put these studs in, and I am excited for it. So, yeah, guys, let me know any of the questions you have in the chat. Yeah, Cade Cunningham, I just saw that news come across my phone. It looks like he's not going to have any restrictions as far as a minutes limit, so that's some big news here for sure, because obviously that's going to open up some huge upside for him. We were dealing with a limited sample size early on with him, but he was producing at a very high rate his first game out. Number one overall pick, the kid clearly has talent, and that is some big news. So at only 3.6 on DraftKings, Cade Cunningham going to be a tremendous play. As far as his fantasy point production on the season so far, when he's been out there on the court, we're dealing with a small sample size, 18 minutes, but he's been able to put up 0.82 DK points per minute. So Cade Cunningham, obviously going to be a tremendous play, even more value on the slate, guys. And yeah, great play. 3.6 on DraftKings as far as FanDuel's concerned, where they have him priced for tonight as far as Mr. Cade Cunningham. We're dealing with a 5,000 price tag, so not quite as appealing on FanDuel as it is on DraftKings. On DraftKings, he's all the way down to 3.6, so definitely going to be a great play on DraftKings for sure. And yeah, that's big news. So Frosty asks, is Giannis's brother a good value play today? Yeah, I think he is. I don't know which website you're playing on, so that's obviously an important question. Please let me know like which website, but specifically on DraftKings, he's only 3-1. He's been putting up 0.84 DK points per minute. I was talking about a little bit at the beginning of the stream. He's a guy that traditionally isn't exactly the best fantasy point producer, but we've seen him go out there and put up 31 DraftKings points last time out in 32 minutes. He's been putting up, like I said, 0.84 DK points per minute, and he's only 3-1. Now, as far as FanDuel is concerned, if you're playing over there, things get a little bit different. He is only 4-2. I still like him as a play. It's just not quite as easy to be playing him. Whereas on DraftKings, he's all the way down to 3-1. It's very easy to be putting him in your lineup. So on FanDuel, yeah, I think he's a pretty good play on FanDuel. But I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't like him a lot more on DraftKings. So no issues with going him on FanDuel, but not quite as high on him. Although he does grade out as one of the best value plays on FanDuel. So, you know, beggars can't be choosers. So, but if you're playing on both websites, you know, definitely prefer to playing him on DraftKings. All right. Any other questions in the chat, guys? Let me know. I think that we got a pretty good grasp on the slate. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to be building my lineups here after the stream. If you're new to the stream and you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like button. Really do greatly appreciate it. It's going to help me out in a big way if you feel like I'm offering you any value. Yeah, goes a long way, guys. Hit that like button. Right now we're at 10 likes. If we can get this thing up to 20 likes before I get off, that'd be great. But yeah, should be plenty of value. Waiting on the injury news here. We already got confirmation Brandon Ingram's probably going to be out. That's going to open up our New Orleans Pelicans usage. We already got confirmation that there's no Kristaps Porzingis. That's going to open up our Dallas Mavericks usage. We already got confirmation that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be extremely short-handed. No Chris Middleton, no Drew Holiday, no Brook Lopez, no Dante DiVincenzo. Plenty of value there. And that's going to allow for some serious stars and scrubs builds for our lineups tonight. Going to be able to jam in all the studs. It's going to be a fun one. And I'm excited for it. So, yeah, guys, that's about all for me. If you have any more questions before I end the stream, please let me know in the chat box. I'll be glad to answer them. And if that's not, make sure you leave a like button. Let me know if you like the content. You can sign up for my premium content. I'm about to go in, update all my projections, update my core plays, get ready to start building my lineups. I'm really liking the way that my premium content's coming together with all the tools that I have to provide over there. I use them to build my own lineups. It's a very reasonable price. Much cheaper than you're going to get at a lot of other places in the industry. You get access to me in the Discord chat. You can ask me questions all the way up to lock, after lock. I know we're dealing with all of this different late swap news on this slate specifically. It's a perfect night to be active in the Discord chat, interacting with me, interacting with the other KJK DFS guys in the community. Help each other out to make some good lineups here. Jay Trez asks, Graham, Brunson, Thanasis, Giannis, AD, Hill, Core. Favorite guard, under 4K. I need to know which website you're playing on to be able to answer that question. Under 4K, I'm going to just assume you're talking about DraftKings. Let's see. My favorite guard, under 4K right now on DraftKings would by far be Mr. Cade Cunningham at only 3.6. So, yeah, if you can just confirm that you're playing on DraftKings, we playing on DraftKings. We just got the news. There's no minutes limit for Cade Cunningham at 3.6. He's going to be an absolute smash play now. So, yeah, that'd be my favorite play under 4K at the guard position by far. Mr. Cade Cunningham. All right, guys. Last call for questions here in the chat before I go. Yeah, Cade is key, DK. So, yeah, I like Cade. That's all for me, guys. Giannis Antetokounmpo is my top play. Lock him in. Gonna have plenty of value here. So keep an eye on the injury news, guys. Keep up to date. We're dealing with DeAndre Ayton. That's going to open up more value for our center position in JaVale McGee. We're waiting on Bam Adebayo. That's going to make Jimmy Butler a much better play, as well as open up some Dwayne Dedmon and Markieff Morris minutes. So that's big news. We just got news Cade Cunningham is not on an injury. I'm sorry, not on a minutes limit. That's big news. Feeling good about the slate. Ready to build some lineups. Hope you guys are too. Make sure you smash that like button before you head out. Make sure you lock Giannis Antetokounmpo in your lineups. This is my lock of the night. Make sure you check out my premium packages. Link below in the description. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight. And we will see you in the next one. Peace out.